Pep, the last time we saw you, you were clearly very frustrated. Now you've had some time to reflect, and given Chelsea dropped points as well since the Burnley game, have you changed your thoughts on the win?
About?
The win against Burnley, the game against Burnley. Have you changed your thoughts?
No.
Do you mind?
We won 65 minutes, 10 against 11, 2 days later to play in Anfield. So I was so happy. I said to the journalist, I was so happy to our victory. Important victory because drop points against Burnley would have been so difficult for our future. And after what happened, the players showed me many things. Sometimes I was wrong about my players. Sometimes I want more of them. Sometimes I'm so demanding, and they show me how good they are, how special they are for me and for the team, for the club. Because Burnley is not an easy team. They are doing exceptional in that season, especially at home. We won not far away, 3 points there, and after we beat them again here with 10 against 11, a long time. That's why I'm so glad and so happy.
You certainly said you were happy, but your demeanour, the way you were, didn't appear so pleased with everything.
Okay.
Was there anything the matter? Can you tell us if there was something wrong?
I was so happy how we won the game. I repeat again. So we won a fantastic game. So that is what it is.
Pep, Simon Stone from the BBC. You did an interview with NBC, which most of the people in this room have not seen, but there's been a lot written about it in terms of your future here, where Manchester City are compared to Manchester United. Could you explain?
You can ask me whatever you want about that interview, and I'm going to answer. So I spoke many issues, I cannot repeat the interview because I forgot. You can ask me.
Right. How do you view your future at Manchester City? And where is Manchester City?
I said in the interview that I'm not going to training when I will have 60 years old. But guys, I have 45. First one, second one. No, believe me, BBC, I have 45, so I'm not going to retire in the 2-3 years. I love my job, and I am at a perfect place to do my job, so especially here in England. So I have 45. I'm not going to train in 60 years because I want to do something else in my life. I started playing football young. When I was a young guy, all my career was on the pitch, and I want to do something else in my life. But now in the next 3, 4, 5, or 6 or 7 years, I said to 60, 65, I said in the interview, I'm not going to training. Of course, maybe it was inappropriate to say I'm starting to say goodbye on my career. Maybe it was inappropriate, but I know I'm thinking about I'm going to retire. No.
And the second thing is then, where is Manchester City compared to Manchester United? Because the way it was written you're far behind Manchester United.
Yeah, but because in terms of titles, in terms of the history, for the Manchester City fans, Manchester City is the most important thing, and always that remains. When I say to compare about the history and the titles about Liverpool, United, Barcelona, Madrid, and these kind of clubs, we are behind, and the people don't understand that. Okay, I'm sorry. But I am talking, the moment I am taking in charge, I am in one club like Manchester City, or before in Barcelona, or before in Bayern Munich. In that moment, for me, is that the most important thing in my life, to try to help them to getting better. That is my job here. But when we compare the titles in the last 20 years, about Manchester United did in the last 20 years, not in the last 3, 4 years, because in the last 5 or 6 years, I think Manchester City is the best club, the club who most achieve more targets or getting better or grow the most. I think is one of the best in the world, by far. Maybe PSG and Manchester City is the best in terms where they were, but after Sheikh Mansour and Sheikh Khaldoon and all the people here, the English people here in Manchester City in the last 5 or 6 years, become a strong team. But in terms of the titles, just the titles, when the people, I am asking that with the title, you have to win the Champions League. In terms of the titles, we are behind on that clubs in the last 20 years. But also Liverpool in 25 years didn't win the Premier League. But in titles is better than Manchester City. It's just to read the titles. But that doesn't mean that is less than the other ones. I never said that. Of course, we're going to fight until the end, at the end of the season for all the titles. Of course, we're going to do that. But I never said this club is below for the other one right now. No. Because this club play every game from the beginning. Since I am here, we fight every game to win the games, better or not better, in good football or not good football, but we try it. So I respect a lot. So I am grateful. I am not Manchester City. I am grateful to be here. Always I will be grateful and delighted for the opportunity Manchester City to give me to be here with you, within this Premier League, to know what does it mean for me, for my experience, for my family, for all I'm going to live. Always I will be grateful for the people who trust me to come here.
Pep, you say you're grateful, but your frustrations seem quite obvious, particularly after the last game, in terms of maybe fouls on keepers, decisions from referees, and obviously style of play, maybe other teams, everything else. So after just 6 months here in England, how happy are you? You're obviously grateful. How happy are you with everything that's going on here? Football, maybe the media with you. How are you taking it all in? How do you feel?
Maybe the people was wrong, and you maybe would misunderstand for the people who talk about me, about the I'm here to change absolutely everything. So maybe you are wrong. From the first time I arrived here, I said I am here just to learn and to improve and to help to my team to serve. So you create the football, no, Oda? Yes, no, years ago. So it's going to remain until the end. I came from another country, come here to try to my team to play as best as possible to fight with the other teams. I'm not so to not forget about it. So I adapt here. Sometimes the criteria why a decisions are here is completely different because I see the other games and I see their situations. Always my teams in the past, in the second team, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, always was the best team in the fair play. The lowest the yellow card, the lowest the red cards. That's why even me, I am a little bit surprised what happened because normally it happens. But I try to be positive. Always I try to speak with my players about how you have to play, how you have to respect the rules, how to have to respect the opponents, the fans, to come here, to be positive, to try to attack as much as possible. It's not just words. So sometimes the managers are here to talking and talking and talking. It's the history, what we have done. And we have done in my past is always to be positive, with attacking players, with trying. I have more problems to make that game here. It's normal. It's part of the process, said many times. But I am not here to change us or anything. I said many times I'm here to adapt the way, but sometimes it's difficult to understand what I see in the other games, the criteria, this is yellow or red card, and this is yellow and not red card, and why sometimes it's fault and sometimes not fault. That is what I have to learn when I said many times. But also my history. Of course, sometimes I spoke about the referee, but believe me, few times. And that is going to happen again in the future.
Hi, Pep. Excuse me. Some managers take the opportunity in the FA Cup to rotate their squad. Will you go with your strongest?
No.
You go with the strongest lineup.
We play against West Ham away after what happened in the last game with them. So I will take to win that game. It's a Premier League team and in a way, so tough, and we're going to try to continue in that competition.
And Willie Caballero's been the cup keeper during his time at City.
I'm going to decide the next hours.
Hi Pep. Just wondering, is Vincent Kompany getting any closer to being ready to play?
He started training, part of the training sessions, yeah, but he's not ready to play tomorrow.
Pep, obviously the FA Cup, I think it's the oldest cup competition in the world. It's a competition with great tradition. What are your thoughts on taking part in it in the first time?
Yeah, I think I live in Spain, the cup is 2 games, 2 legs, so it's a little bit predictable what is going to happen. In Bundesliga it was completely different, so it's like here in England, 1 game, and the tradition there is always so special, so good. The final is 1 game. It's the most beautiful game in Deutschland in the final. And what I heard here before, so the cup, is special because the low teams can beat the big teams in 1 game. That's why it's so fascinating. Not just happen in the Premier League, happen in the cup as well. So that's why I'm looking forward. But of course, it's in the Premier League game. It's tough. It will be tough. We were lucky in the draw.
Do some questions in Spanish before the embargo. We'll take one from you.
Hola, molt Pep. Has comentat que vas venir aquí per aprendre del futbol anglès, per adaptar-te una mica tot plegat. No sé si ara fem balanç, ara que portem mitja temporada, potser el que t'ha impactat més potser són aquestes coses que el futbol anglès és complicat de controlar, no? Tant amb les segones pilotes com amb...
Is the difficult to control the game here the thing that impacts you the most in your adventure here in the first 6 months?
Per controlar tot el futbol anglès és el que més t'ha impactat en aquesta mitja temporada que portem.
No estem tan malament, Pol. Ha sigut un equip que ha agafat distància. Estem 5 equips amb marge de 3-4 punts. Em sembla que estem d'allò. Si no haguéssim controlat moltes d'aquestes coses, no estarien com estem. No estarien com estem. Però jo ho sabia abans de venir. Jo he jugat com amb altres equips, amb equips anglesos. Ho sabia. És només que coses que passen que ja ho anirem millorant.
Era més com per fer balanç una mica de com ho havies vist.
We are not that bad, except one team which quite ahead. There's 5 teams in 3-4 points. If we hadn't controlled most of the things we have done, we wouldn't be where we are now. There's things that happen during the games, but we are learning. And besides all the difficulties, I'm very happy with the outcome or about the things, how they are going. We are just 2 points behind the second team. Some people doesn't value how we play the other day, 65 minutes with 10 men, and we end up winning. There's a lot of things that intervene in the matches that we can control, but when can we do it? Just playing better, and we are in the process of doing that.
Ningú valora que hi ha probablement un penal a l'últim minut al David Silva que no es pita, que el gol és en falta. Doncs que hi ha moltes coses que intervenen els àrbitres que no puc controlar. I que això, doncs, com es controla? Jugant millor. Com sempre, jugant millor i jugant millor. En 5 o 6 mesos, doncs, en molts moments ho hem fet molt, molt bé.
Pep, Antonio Fuentes para Deportes 4.
Fabio Capello said recently he thinks your future step will be to go back to Barcelona to become FC Barcelona's president. Would you like to do that in the future?
¿Realmente quiere presidir el Barça?
Tuve la suerte de ser entrenado por Fabio Capello.
I was lucky to be trained by Fabio Capello, and I want to tell him I'll never be the president of FC Barcelona. There's already Gerard Piqué to do that.
Nunca seré presidente de Barcelona.
Hi, Pepe. Guilherme, Brazilian journalist. Gabriel Jesus is here now. I would like to ask you, please, what do you expect from him? And do you know when he will play for the first time?
Well, he was 3 weeks, 1 month off, holidays. He played 2 friendly games, but he rested, but he needed that. Arrived, he has made 2 training sessions. This afternoon is going to make the first training session with the team. We are delighted and he's here, and what they're looking for is settle as soon as possible, try to help him to be happy here, and after to good connection with his teammates. The process to understand and to play with the league needs time, and hopefully he can do what he is with the national team from Brazil, with his old club, playing in front and help us to score a goal where is his big value.